Hunter, I was just looking for you. We need your assistance.
Who is we?
The Esoteric Mystical Order, specifically the Knights of Intellect and Dimensional Spiritualism.
That is an elaborate name.
You can blame Doctor Strange. Oh, I may have rearranged a few words so it spells out emo kids.
Tell me what you need.
Dr. Strange Magic and I are researching a crucial moment in your past, but it's probably better if we just show you. How about it? Ready to uncover one of the greatest mysteries about your life after death?
Lead the way.
Let's do it! So, about the spell that brought you back to life, it worked better than expected, but there are some gaps.
You are talking about my death.
Exactly. The memories of your final moments might tell us how you defeated your mother 3 centuries ago. That could give us an edge this time around.
Those memories are lost.
Maybe not. We think there's a way to recover them. All you're gonna need is a mystical jumpstart.
How would that work?
Doctor Strange can explain it better than I, but if you want the abridged version, ask Magic. And when you're ready to begin the ritual, let me know.
Hunter, I'm glad you're present for the inaugural meeting.
Of what, exactly?
Why, the Knights of Intellect and Dimensional Spiritualism, the Abbey's local chapter of the Esoteric Mystical Order.
Right, emo kids. So, the ritual?
Regarding your resurrection, we had to meticulously reunite your corpus, or physical vessel, with your animus, or spiritual essence.
How does this relate to the ritual?
Animating your corpus was the easy part, but your essence, your thoughts, hopes, fears, and dreams, that was the slipperiest eel.
Does the ritual require eels?
But now, with the plenary potential of Miss Minoru's Staff of One to focus Miss Rasputin's enigmatic energies, I, Doctor Strange,
The ritual?
the Sorcerer Supreme, shall pluck from unreality your mislaid memory, thought lost to time and death. I shall stare those cosmic forces in their many eyes and shout, "Nay!"
Doctor Strange, the ritual. How does it work?
Didn't I just explain? I could start with the fundamental underpinnings of the multiverse theory if it would help.
Just tell me what to expect.
Ah, yes. You will focus on recalling what was lost as we do everything in our power to restore it. Simple, really.
Yes?
How does this ritual work?
This is the ritual. You focus on the past, Nico zaps you with her staff, Strange chants and waggles his fingers, then you remember. Maybe.
So why are you here?
Should the zapping, chanting, and waggling go bad, I will open a portal to Limbo and push you inside before the explosion.
There is a chance I might explode.
A very small chance. Unlikely.
How concerned should I be about exploding?
Slightly more than usual.
Does Strange have any other details about the ritual?
Ha! Far too many.
That is all I need to know.
Tell Nico, and don't explode. Boom! A little joke. Tiny. Like your chance to explode.
The first part's easy. I need you to focus on your last memories before you fought Lilith.
Will this help me remember?
I can't answer that. When I start, you'll be the one making the repairs. The rest of us are here to keep you steady.
All right.
If you're ready, we can begin.
I am ready.
Now, Hunter, tell us what you...
I raced through the Abbey grounds. Angry. Terrified. It is too late. We were not ready. My foot slips, but I catch myself. I run with my blades exposed. I am completely alone. The moonlight guides my path. My lungs ache. My heart pounds. I rush toward my doom. I cannot. No!
Whoa! We all saw that, right?
I have no words to describe it.
Finally.
Well, how about that? Your final moments are there, just buried deep inside.
It did not work.
Not yet, but we made progress. I'm sure we can figure out a way for you to remember more the next time.
Next time?
Heck yeah! Emo kids meet every lunar alignment, or, you know, whenever we're free on a slow night. Oh, and we need ingredients. Magic will send a list to your spark. If you bring enough, we can refine them into more useful mystical objects. We're done for today, but I'll be in touch about the next meeting. Catch you later.
I've never run into him, but I've heard Spider-Man is a pretty nice guy. Does a lot for the city. I'm all for helping out if we can.
I've got a kid I send on missions sometimes. How long has Spider-Man been out there running around? That kid has stamina, I'll give him that.
So, what do you need?
Nothing, Carol. See you later.
Looking forward to it.
Supervillains rampaging through a major metropolitan area is just like everyday news here in the 21st century. You'll get used to it eventually.
Hunter?
I've always found Spider-Man to be in good spirits, even in the worst of situations. Even now, fleeing from a rampaging demonic beast, I'm sure he's still as affable as ever.
Venom's been around New York a while, but everyone knows I don't get into that. I kill vampires and anybody that works with them. The rest is up to the day shift.
I don't frequently watch the television. It was never part of my childhood. I do not feel a particular affection for it.
I know I've asked a lot of you recently, dear, especially when it comes to these little excursions. But there is one more thing you could do to make an old witch happy.
If it were not so good to see you again, I might think you were taking advantage of me.
Hunter, you certainly are the product of your environment. Between Sarah and I suppose we're just lucky you didn't turn out more cynical. Besides, this might be interesting. Now that the altar is in working order, we just need to reignite my cauldron.
How interesting can that be? Your cauldron was always churning with some concoction in the old days.
Yes. And how do you think that was possible? It's not just any flame we're talking about here. Maybe you've heard tale of the demon fueling the forge? A fire-breathing demon, no less, blazing as hot as the flames of hell itself. Fortunately, I'll only require a single ember.
I can see where this is going. How do I find it?
I've enchanted this vessel to protect you from the ember's heat. You should be able to get close enough to retrieve it through one of the old mine tunnels beneath the forge.
I have seen the tunnels. They were here before the Abbey.
I'm not surprised. You always have been curious. The tunnel may lead close enough to the heart of the forge to retrieve an ember.
Good girl, Charlie. This must be the tunnel entrance Agatha spoke of. This must be an ember from the forge. I have the ember. The bottle is not even warm.
If it were giving off any heat at all, I'd be concerned, given the enchantment on that vessel. Now, let's see if this old girl still works.
So I can use the cauldron to brew... things?
Essentially, yes. Collect reagents on the Abbey grounds. You'd be surprised what we can make use of.
And I just dropped the ingredients in. Is that not dangerous?
That's part of the fun, isn't it? And I see you've already found a recipe book. I doubt you'll have any trouble following along. Lovely, dear. You're a natural. That was expertly done, Hunter. I expected no less from someone as skilled as you. I could use some of that myself.
Hi, kiddo. I don't keep up with all the comings and goings, but Spider-Man is something.
Fascinating.
Fine, speak. This Spider-Man sounds like a strange thing, swinging from the rooftop.
You always manage to get ahead of me.
The corrupted influence of the Elder God Chthon. But we won't be able to heal the Abbey grounds until we've recovered the Moon Seal, stolen by Hiram Shaw.
Remind me about the seal?
I think you've gotten ahead of yourself, dear. You'll need to find the Moon Seal first. A trial awaits you.
She believes in our purpose. This area, it feels wrong somehow. I sense an old suffering.
Members of the local coven were persecuted here. And worse.
Witches?
Salem's history with witches may have been distorted over the years, but some things are true. The witches of Salem did their best to thwart Shaw, but he rallied his congregation against them. The catalyst of the infamous Salem witch trials. When the Coven called out in distress, it was Lilith and Sarah who came to their aid.
They came all the way from Transia with the Abbey to help a group they had never met?
You may not believe it, but I'm sure you would have done the same. Isn't that why the Sons are here today? Aside from that, your mother and Sarah both saw the signs of Chthon's influence. They knew there was more happening in Salem than the persecution of witches.
Chthon's corruption had taken root in the New World just like the colonists themselves.
And while Lilith and Sarah were still preoccupied in Transia, they entrusted one of the Moon Seals to the Knights of Wondercore, who brought it to the Coven with the hope that its power would reinforce them enough to deal with Shaw.
But that is not what happened.
Unfortunately, no. When the plague came to Salem, the same one that afflicted your father, Shaw used it to further agitate his flock by placing the blame squarely on the Coven.
And the witches?
The mob was vicious. And the rest is history.
But what about the Moon Seal?
After the trials, the Moon Seal vanished along with Shaw. Without drawing any conclusions, I think we can both guess where it went.
If this was his church, then it is possible the seal is still here, or somewhere nearby.
You read my mind. Good hunting, dear.
This must be Shaw's study. Noble Oster guides my hand. Is not like anything I have seen on the grounds before.
And yet, it's familiar somehow.
Like the wards of protection that Wanda invoked to protect Dr. Strange's sanctum?
Very perceptive, dear. Maybe you should approach the good doctor and see if he has any insights. And Hunter, be circumspect. Dr. Strange is no fool. Never a dull moment.
Tell me about Hiram Shaw.
By all accounts, Hiram Shaw was a desperate man. Desperate for power, wealth, influence, the usual desires that cloud men's minds. As I understand it, he was a largely unsuccessful minister before his arrival at Salem, traveling from place to place, swindling whatever followers he managed to gain before being run out of town. To think that a simple man like Shaw finding a piece of the Darkhold was enough to set all of this in motion, it puts things in perspective.
What do you know about my father?
That's not an easy question, dear. What would you like to know? Was he a good man? Yes, I think he was. Your mother loved him dearly, and he doted over her. I think for a time she forgot who she was, where she came from. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. She and Sarah both deserve to find something more than just another fight with Chthon. Lilith did. Sarah didn't. At least, not for a while longer still. I honestly think that's the only thing she ever had against him, blood or not.
Did Wanda ever make it to this place?
I suspect she did, but if she discovered something, she didn't tell me. Until we speak again.
Autumn thinks otherwise.
How's it going?
You feeling all right?
Ah, Hunter, I was just admiring the collection. Someone spent a great deal of time piecing this library together. I hope you don't mind me, having a look around.
Of course not, Doctor. The library is an asset to us all.
I see I'm not the only one who's taken an interest in these works. You haven't been getting into anything precarious, I hope?
I've found something on the Abbey grounds that I think you should see.
Oh, sounds mysterious. By all means, lead the way. I typically avoid venturing this far from the Abbey, especially at night. There's an unsettling air about this place.
This church belonged to a preacher named Hiram Shah. His influence turned Salem against its coven.
Considering the risk he put himself in to assist us earlier, I'm more than willing to volunteer for any efforts to help Spider-Man deal with the ongoing Venom situation. A charismatic personality and a fearful population. You were right to bring this to my attention, Hunter.
We thought it resembled one of your wards of protection.
There's a reason for that. It's the same magic Wanda invoked in her attempts to protect the Sanctum. But what is it that you're chasing out here? These wards aren't something to toy with.
I will not know for sure until I get past this. Is there any way to dispel it?
Unfortunately, no. What good would the wards of protection be if they were so easily broken? But I have been wrong before, at least recently. Do you have any suspicions as to who may have conjured this here?
Wanda spent a great deal of time out here, and she had the power.
She does have some experience with these spells, but why would she do that?
The only way I will know for sure is to find a way through to the other side.
I'll think on it and see if I can come up with some way to assist you, Hunter. For now, though, you'll have to be patient.
Autumn does not answer.
You go on, Hunter. I'd like to study this area a bit more.
Autumn must not see it that way.
¿Qué pasa, Hunter?
Something on your mind?
I have heard that Wanda's power comes from Chthon.
The way I understand it, as a child, Wanda and her family lived in Transia, not far from Mount Wundagore. Within that mountain, the Dark God Chthon had long been imprisoned, his corruptive influence an ongoing threat to the people of Transia.
And Wanda was affected?
Whether Chthon reached out to Wanda, or he found her by chance, I can't say. But Wanda was blessed or cursed by Chthon, touched by the power of chaos magic. While he had hoped to make her some sort of acolyte, she proved to be more capable than even he foresaw.
What can you tell me about Chthon?
One of the first Elder Gods, Chthon is said to have existed for tens of millions of years, well before the dawn of humanity on Earth. Believe it or not, he wasn't always the bastion of evil that we know today.
This story sounds familiar.
As the legend goes, the downfall of the old gods was actually brought upon by Chthon's brother Set, who found that by consuming his siblings, he could gain their power. After Set consumed Hypus, Chthon followed suit with the others, and in this way, many of the first gods also became the first demons.
And how did he come to be imprisoned on Earth?
In the same way Hydra has worked to restore Lilith, various cultists of the past sought to revive Chthon to wield his power. When Chthon failed to cooperate, these same cultists did the only thing they could. They locked him away again.
What do you know about Transia?
Transia is your ancestral homeland, Hunter. The birthplace of Lilith and Caretaker. It has always been a sort of magical junction, drawing in every type of occultist, sorcerer, and even the occasional Elder God. The Abbey grounds still behave in much the same way, even after all this time.
And Wundagore?
Wundagore Mountain has always played a prominent role in whatever scheme was underway. Chthon himself is said to have created the Darkhold, deep within the caverns of the mountain.
What was Caretaker like when she was younger?
I'm sure it's difficult to remember now, but Sarah wasn't always the steadfast contrarian. In our younger days, she was much more enthusiastic about dashing off to save the day, not unlike some of our younger allies among the Suns.
That does not sound like the Caretaker we know and love.
Keep in mind, Hunter, Sarah has faced a great deal of loss in her time here. Everyone she ever cared about, in fact. I would say she's earned the right to be disagreeable, at the very least. She is a very strong woman. I'm not sure I would have held up as well given the same circumstances.
Who were the Knights of Wundagore?
Another mysterious group of heroes in a world full of mysterious groups. Of course, I'm no expert on Transian history. I do know that the Knights of Wundagore were formed as a response to the growing threat of Chthon's influence near the mountain.
What exactly did they do?
Hydra was hardly the first to dabble in chthonic schemes. Many have tried and failed to awaken the Dark God. Over the centuries, the Knights fought alongside a number of allies who stood against the various crazed worshippers of Chthon.
You were there? At the witch trials?
Not initially, no. If I had been, I like to think I could have stopped them before it was too late. I sensed something was wrong, and when the witches cried out in distress, I came to Salem as quickly as I could.
But Shah had already committed his crimes against them?
Yes. It was a devastating discovery. And for the longest time, I blamed myself.
But you see now it was not your fault.
I've come to understand that we must accept the past and move on. But That doesn't mean I won't always carry that pain with me.
I know that feeling all too well.
I know. And I wish you didn't, dear. I really do.
Always on the hunt, right?
Yo, it's good to see you.